Welcome to the session of SAS format facility. Before talking about that what SAS format facility is, what are SAS formats, what SAS formats are, how the SAS formats are used, let's exactly discuss that what I'm going to talk about basically. When I say format, what I mean. You might observe some difference between first three column and the last column. Right? When I say first three column, it means ex-showroom price, insurance and road taxes, and then on-road price. So you can see the amount which is mentioned in on-road price column, commas in it. That shows that this is formatted. And it's very easy to read that. If we insert these values, means comma separated values into SAS, would SAS understand that? Right? That's a big question. And again, the report which we show out of SAS data, if we want to show this comma separated figures, when we think about or when we have such questions, then one thing which comes in our mind is the format, right? So now we know that what format is. Now we'll see that what type of format facility is available in SAS. Here is the example, the first example. Right, it says that number 17631 can be written in several ways. I will write the same kind of code here, data test formats, and then we'll say retain var1 to var4. Okay, so before I go ahead to the next step, let me tell you that what is the meaning of var1 to var4. There is, we can write the same statement in this format as well. var2, then var3, then var4, right? If you have number of variables in a SAS code or SAS program, either you can write each and every variable like this in sequence, or if they are in series, you can write them in this format, that var1 to var4, right? So right now I will neglect the last row and go with the first one, and then it says that after these retain value 17631. So what it's the meaning of this is that we are storing the value of 17,631 into these variables, like variable 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them will have the same value, 17,631. If I just write run and run this program, you will see in the output window it says that one observation and 4 variables. And if you want to see that to print, so you can say like proc print data, or simply you can write proc print and then run. So it's gonna run the last created data set. Just give it a minute, it will show you the result. Okay, here we go. So as I said, like var1, var2, var3, var4, and all of them have the same value. So finally we know that our data got created. Now the next point, which was what we were about to do, is that we are going to print the same data, but this time we will make some formatting points here. So first of all, let's say this time I will name it, let's say data is equal to test formats. This means that data set is saved in the work library, because I have not mentioned any other library, so by default it got saved into work library. Then I have used width, and here we need to give the actual width, right, is equal to minimum, and no obs means no observation. So whenever I will get the output, it will not give you the row numbers. It means 1, 2, 3, the row numbers will not be shown into the output. Then this is the syntax of format, that how we are going to use it. Okay, so you remember I told you that there are 4 variables, that var1, var2, var3, and then var4. So for each variable I'm going to define a different type of format, right? So for first we are saying comma 9 dot. Okay, for next one I would say $9.2. I'll talk about what this 9.9.2 mean. I'll talk about these things later, but right now I'm just defining a format to show you that how exactly this format is being used and how the output will look like. Okay, so for var3 I have given dd mm yy 10 dot, and then var4 I will give dd yy 10 dot, and I have terminated my statement. Now if I just run this proc, let's see what I'm going to get, right? So this is the result. You can see for var1, let me minimize this window so that you can see the result in a better way. Okay, here we go. So for variable 1 I said comma 9 dot, so you can see we have got comma separated number, right? Then for var2 I mentioned $9.2, so I have got a number with the dollar sign, means I have changed it into currency, and the currency is the dollar format. Now variable 3 I have said dd mm 10 dot, so that's here, right? And if I say this var4 dd d10 dot, that is this. So you can see that I have changed the format, and in Excel you must have gone through the date value, right? So what exactly SAS has done, the number which we stored in form of number, by using the format or date format, we have converted that number into the date format. So number 17,631 is equivalent to this date. So this is how the formatting works in SAS. We'll move to the next slide. I'm sure we will have another example here. Okay. So you can see that the format statement assigns format to variable values, right? We just gone through some variables like variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, and now we have the values are stored in unformatted format. But when viewing the value, to make more meaning, we need data to be formatted, right? For example, SAS date for 18 July 2013 is 19,557. For SAS database, it's easier to store date as 19,557 because that is the number. And you must remember that there are only 2 data types in the SAS, numeric and character. So it converts date into numeric and then stores it in the memory. But if I say the project is due on 565, so SAS may understand this, right? Because that 19,565 could be a date. But for a user perspective, if I'm looking at this title, or if let us suppose a student is looking at this title, will not be able to understand that what is the meaning of 19,565 due on this, right? So this is difficult for a user perspective. So what it means is that it might be difficult to calculate and find out the date when project is due. Actually, that date is 27th July 2013. Okay, so that is how the SAS stores number, and we can convert that into the date format, or by using formats we can change that look and feel of that number and show the actual date behind the numbers. Syntax of format statement. So the format variables and format, right? So you need to use the keyword format as we have used here in the code like this, then your variable, and then what format you are using. So basically this is the complete syntax of a format. Format keyword, then your variable, and then the type of format you are using. So using a format statement is data step permanently associates format with variable by storing the format in descriptor portion of dataset. So again, the descriptor portion, I told you that in every dataset there are two parts, right? One is the data portion and another is descriptor portion. So if you really want to see the, the descriptor portion of a data set, then you can write proc contents data is equal to, let's say I'll use the same test formats and run. Let's see what it's gonna show. So you can see it has shown the result of proc content procedure. It told me that there are 4 variables in my data set, and it will tell you about the formats which are being used in that, right? It says that basically they have the data type of numeric, length is 8. Okay. Yeah, it's not telling me the format because I use the formats in the print portion only. So I'll come to that, right? When we are using a format statement in the proc print, so this is for just for representation. But if we are going to use that with data step, it means we are telling SAS to store data in that format. And in that case, it's gonna save into the data. Okay, the format is going to be saved with the data in the SAS memory. So this is how it works. If you are using it with proc statement or proc print statement, then it is only for representation. If you're using in the data part, then it is for to be saved into the SAS, right? So that's all. Now, okay. So using format statement is data step. This is exactly what it says, that if you are using the format statement is data step, it's permanently associate formats with the variables by storing the format and descriptor portion. This proc content which I have just shown you, this is nothing but the descriptor portion of the data set. It tells you each and every information about the data set, right? But I have already told that there are two parts of data set. Two portion of data sets are there. One is data and another is descriptor. So data we already saw, like here, and this is the descriptor portion. Okay. Now navigate to SAS Help, go to content and drill down to the following, right? So, okay, as it says that go to content, help. Okay, first of all, let me go to SAS Help. Okay, give it a minute. It will open. It will open the SAS Help. All right. Then you have, I'm on content. Then I need to go to Base SAS. And after Base SAS, you need to go on SAS 9.4 language reference dictionary. So SAS 9.4, then language reference, okay, concept second edition. Okay, the hierarchy might be different slightly, but nobody's dictionary of language formats. Okay, you can search into the all the help content to find the formats. If that is not possible, I'll tell you another way that how to look for the formats in SAS Help. So the other way would be nowhere to just type in here format. it will search and then it will give you all the links like format statement. Let's say format category. I have clicked on it. It will open that page for me. You can see that format categories. It says formats can be categorized by type of values they operate on. Each data set format belong to one of the following two category. One is character, date, time, numeric. So we have already talked about that there are basic three type of format categories are available in SAS: character, date, time, and numeric. And basis that you can see the categories that if you are want to apply character format on character data type, then you have base 64x, binary, character, hexadecimal, octadecimal, code. Okay, uppercase format, lowercase format. This is the width format, and it tells you the description as well. So anytime you need to know that what type of format you are supposed to use in your data, you can just go back to the help and directly you can find the required support. This is all about the date formats. So we have used the format of kind this dd mm yy and then width. So if I go back to my code, remember, like we have written dd mm yy then 10 dot. So 10 is nothing but the width which I want to specify for my value, right? So all the numbers which you see, whether here 9.2 or then 9. Okay, let me go back to the result once again, then I can explain you that what exactly this means. So if I talk about this comma 9, so it's nothing but a comma separated number, and 9, that is a standard value, right? Now if I say 9.2, so till 9 it's a standard thing, but this 0.2 is nothing but the two decimal places. So that is why the value which we have got here, it has two decimal places, right? Another thing is ddmmyy 10 dot. So it will show you the value in date format with the width of 10. So right now you can see if you count all the numbers, it will be of 10 character, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And similarly, the next one and last one, that variable 4, mmddyy d10. So again, the width will remain same 10, but this time we are not using slash. The format is a bit different, and it is just because of the format which we are using. So you can see that how these formats are used. You can see the date formats are big in number. Then you have numeric data types, right? So we'll be using a lot of these formats which are available in the SAS. I'll close this page and then we'll go ahead to the slide and move further, right? So I have just shown you that how to get the information about formats from the SAS help. Then let's go through the following topic, the definition of format, which I have already told that how you're gonna write the syntax, and then explain what is SAS format. So this is nothing but the syntax which we have already gone through. Individual format can be researched under the same heading in the link formats by category. So category, this is nothing but those three type of formats: numeric, data type, and date, time, and numeric, character, and date type. We will now be seeing a few of the most commonly used formats, right? So you can see that commonly used formats. The first one is shows $W dot. So basically what happens, the most two basic formats which are available in SAS are W.D, the second one which you see here in the list. It says that writes standard numeric data, and another one is $W dot, the first one, which says write standard character data. The W.D format reads standard numeric values, and the W tells SAS how many columns to read, right? When I say columns, it means the width of the value which you want to specify. The optional D tells SAS that there is an implied decimal point in the value. For example, the variable which we used here, 0.2, right? So this optional D, I would say, like when I will go back. So I have just used this format here. right? W dot D. So it tells that comma W dot D writes numeric value with a comma that separates every 3 digits and a period that separates a decimal fraction. Now, for example, if you have a number called 123 and you read it with format 3.0 in format, okay, SAS stores the value at 123.0. If you read the same number with 3.1 in format, SAS stores the value as 12.3. Okay. If the number you are reading already has a decimal point in it, then the SAS will ignore the portion of in format. So I'll be talking about the in format, what exactly in formats are. But let's see the other formats like $WD, W.D. So writes numeric value with a leading dollar sign, a comma that separates every 3 digit and a period that separates a decimal fraction. And then like we have dollar currency, then we have euro. So if you want to show some data in euro currency, then you can use euro x W dot D, writes the, okay, let me just show you the euro one. I'll use the same, let's say change it to 5. We'll write it as a 5, and here I'm going to write euro and then x, euro x WD, so W for 9.2. And if we will run this, it's gonna take little time, and then you can see here it has used euro as a currency here, comma separated, and it gave you the complete figure. So this is how you need to use the format which you want to represent the data in. Okay, in short, SAS formats have the following form: dollar and then the format and then a dot sign, right? So dollar indicates a character format. Format names the SAS or user defined format, whatever you want to use. W is the width, which specifies the total format width including decimal places and special characters. Dot is a required delimiter which you need to mention in with every format which you are going to use. And D specifies the number of decimal places. So that is only for the numeric value, not for character one.